good morning, Crystal Fox, and welcome to Upfront. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, man. When I tell you, I'm so excited. Everybody's been buzzing around the CLK studios because they knew that Crystal Fox, Hannah from the Haves and the Have-Nots, in the heat of the night. That's from In the Heat of the Night, right?
Yes.
Everybody's been buzzing about you coming to this. You look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Listen, have you seen our cast? Do you see the people I work with?
Trust me, I've met everyone in person. And I always tell my friends, everyone looks, they're like, Ray, you always say everybody looks good. I'm like, but they do. When you meet them in person, everybody looks amazing.
Well, thank you, because I'm on this tear where I'm trying to get my groove back, I guess. I know I'm getting older, but hey, I don't want to look like I'm old. So anyway, This is my new look for right now. This is how I'm going to work the summer. But it's because of the people I work with. They're always so snatched and beat and muscular and gorgeous. I'm like, I'm not going to be frumpy. I'm not going to be her. I can't even talk. I'm not going to be her.
Well, as they say, black don't crack and beige don't age.
Come on now. Come on. I like that. What?
Well, we're going to talk about this amazing event that you have coming up on the 24th. But before we get into that, I feel like, gosh, you and we've seen each other over these last couple of years, but for those that don't know, that have been living under a rock, you star as Hannah on Tyler Perry's hugely popular The Haves and the Have-Nots. How did you learn about that role?
Okay, now, first of all, I was doing a play, and everybody was talking about the partnership of Tyler and Oprah, and everybody was saying, oh, my goodness, if they do something, would you want to be on it? And I was like, of course, but at the time, I didn't have representation. So I'm doing the play, and the casting director comes down with the producer. Raven is the casting director. Mark Swinton came to see the play. They saw the play. I met them. They left. The next, I don't know if it was a days later or a week later, I'm looking on my computer, and here is a sheet coming up that says, you have an audition for 2 characters for Have and Have-Nots, and one for one of the sitcoms. And when I read the sides for Hannah, I wanted it immediately. And I just closed my computer like, oh my God. Because you never want to like something or want something that badly. But it's just been a dream. I got that audition. And then I was supposed to go work in Oregon, like in December. So I got the audition, I think, in October. And so I didn't hear anything. So in December, it's time for me to go to Oregon and do this job. And I was grateful because I had a job. But I'm driving all the way across country. And on New Year's Day, my birthday, they called me and said, you have a call back for this show. It's been insane. It's a dream come true. That audition, Tyler made me feel like I was the most spectacular actor in the world. First of all, when you go to an audition, you do your best. You rarely get to see the director get excited about somebody. And he was excited about me. And it's just been, I can't say enough things about this show. I love it. And to do it at home in Atlanta, fantastic.
And we love you. We were talking before we got on the microphones here about just being able to, for a lot of, let me go back. A lot of times when people don't see you in front of the camera, they think, well, what happened? Or, well, where is she? Or where is he? But when you were not doing television, you were on stage.
Absolutely.
And you were in a number of productions here in Atlanta before you got this part of Hannah for the Haves and Have-Nots that put you back on television. But you were working.
Absolutely.
You were working.
Yeah. And it's hard for me to believe, but there was a 25-year gap from In the Heat of the Night to the Have and Have-Nots as far as a television series. And so, I was doing theater. Theater is my first love. I've been acting now for 37 years. So, and I will always go back to theater. I love it. There's nothing like a live audience and that exchange you have with each other. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you feel more comfortable on stage or in front of the camera?
On stage, hands down. I don't know why. I say to people, it's kind of like the last place we agree to go somewhere and communicate with each other and have an exchange. You don't know what I'm going to show you, but you say, okay, let's see what you got. And I get true feedback. If I made you believe me, you'll let me know. And if I didn't, you'll let me know. So there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. But Have and Have-Nots, I love going to work. That's the only time I felt that comfortable on camera because Tyler lets me do it like a play. So it feels like the same thing.
Yeah. And you always manage to play strong female characters.
Good.
That's been a blessing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I like to play anything, any type of character, but to represent our women, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now, what has it been like working with Miss Winfrey?
That's
I asked that question of all of the OWN stars, but how's it been working with her?
Well, we don't get to work with her much. We see her, but I saw her the third day of work. I promise you, your body kind of just like swells, like there she is, and then it's like, please calm down before she thinks you're a stalker. Please don't do that to Miss Winfrey. Yeah. So then when I hugged her, I just wanted to hug her forever, and then I was like, let her go, let her go. I let her go, and she hadn't stopped hugging me, and I was like, I didn't want to stop hugging you first. So she's just, it's like it's bigger than life. But at the same time, when I got to see Oprah and Tyler together, it made such perfect sense that they were friends, and I was so glad because they're so huge. They need each other to balance all of that out. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to have somewhere you can go and be yourself. Where can she go?
Right. She can't go anywhere.
Anywhere. So to have Tyler Perry, it's like, yeah, it was like watching brother and sister, and I was so grateful that they have each other. But I wish we did get to work with her more. I wish she would be on the show or something.
Right.
They could give her a character on the show or something. But she's wonderful. She's gracious. She made me feel special too, because when we first did the pilot, some scene moved her so much that she called me. Now, okay, let me just say, I was in another room and I was sick or something, and I came back and my phone said, Oprah. This is the phone. I picked up the phone and said, Crystal, Oprah. I threw the phone down and just started screaming. I was like, that is not Oprah for real on my phone. And then I had to go back and listen to the message. And she left me this wonderful message about how much my performance had moved her and moved her to tears. I still have it. I taped that. I kept that. But still, she's wonderful. She's wonderful and gracious.
Now, I know you can't give away any secrets of what's going on for this new season because you guys are sort of in the midst of taping right now. Right. But what has been probably your most favorite episode so far on this journey? Or season, because episode maybe might be
right, because there are a couple of them, and I'm trying to make sure I don't tell you anything that's coming.
Yeah.
This season, you're going to see the part 2, I put it that way, of what we finished with last year. For us, we shot that all at once, but you see it in 2 seasons. For me, this one was the most powerful season. When I tell you, but the content, okay, so you know how it ended, right?
Right.
The issue with the baby, you don't even know if he's alive or whatever.
Right.
I had never, ever seen anything like that on television, that much danger surrounding a child. And I thought it was very important because whether you see it or not, it is happening, and it's happening in our communities. So you'll see the rest of that storyline when we come back on June 20th. And I thought it was just powerful, really, really powerful for Mr. Perry to not only tell it, but to show it.
Okay. Now, speaking of community, you have an event that is coming up on June 24th.
Yes.
Dance for Diversity. Let's talk about that, because this is going to be an event for children to come out. You're also advocating for voters registration as well as reading and literacy. So let's talk a little bit about your event.
Yes. After the election, I was miserable, like a lot of us. And I felt like I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to go out of my house because I didn't want to look in someone's face and wonder, do you really feel that way about me? Do you really hate me? That's just what I thought. And I don't know how I'm going to bear that. And my next thought was, and I don't want to sit here and moan and talk about stuff and not do something. So I wanted to form some type of group. I didn't even know what. I had a think tank, and I asked people to come, and I was like, how do you feel? How are you affected? And do you think we can do something? And I had about 20-something people that responded. Now it seems like it's only about 4 people that are consistent with it, but I wanted to present this group to Atlanta. It's called Act to Impact Global is the name of my organization. My group. And we want to be effective in any ills, in any community ills, until we can join forces with all these other groups somewhere to actually make some changes happen in government. You can do things in your community. So that's what we wanted to tackle. And when I found out literacy was a big issue in Georgia, I couldn't believe it. And we were going to talk about voters' education, not just voters' registration, because we need to know why that happened. We need to know why this election went the way it did. And it's because we don't really know all the steps required and what's needed to vote. We don't know. I don't. I thought that the major primary, I can't even talk. The major primaries would be the determining factor, and it's not. It's some of the other times that we should have voted and paid attention. So anyway, when we found out about the literacy issue in Atlanta, these were two separate issues we were talking about, and then it dawned on me, well, if people can't read, then how can you vote?
Right.
So we just picked two topics to introduce to the group, blended with fun. I wanted to bring different styles of dance to the park and expose the neighborhood to it. So we'll probably have some country line dancing, some R&B line dancing. Who else? Oh, salsa. African dance, and I reached out to a company what is it? Bollywood fusion hip hop.
Okay.
And I'm hoping they'll come out. We're still talking, but we'll have that. We'll have food trucks. We're going to have a reading corner for kids. We'll read to them and just talk about the points about voters' education and literacy and encourage people to work in both of those areas.
All right. And this is all taking place on Saturday, June 24th at Adair Park 2, which is located at 866 Murphy Avenue, Southwest Atlanta.
Yes, from 12 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we close out this interview, June is Black Music Month. Yeah. And I must ask you, if you'll reach back into the vault to pull out one of your favorite stories of your aunt, the incomparable, the legendary, the iconic Nina Simone, who was your aunt, and jazz legend, and of course we adore her here at WCLK. But if there's one story that could sum up who she was as a human being, not necessarily the icon that we know, but just as a human being, what would that story be? What would you tell us about Miss Nina Simone?
See, you messed me up because I was going to tell you a funny one, but I don't know if I should tell you that one. That's hard. I don't think I have one that would sum her up. She loved her piano, and she had a love-hate with her piano. And I went to visit her in France the year before she died, and she wasn't doing well. And I went in the room where her piano was, and I just wanted to touch it. I touched it. The sound was so pristine that I was like, wow. And she says from upstairs, "You're on that thing. So you're on that thing." And I said, "No, ma'am, I just wanted to touch it." She said, "No, it's fine. Play it again, touch it again," or something like that. And she comes down the stairs and starts playing for me. And it was amazing because she was tired of it because of the cost, what it costs to be an artist. People have no idea. I want to write a play in honor of her, for her, because it dawned on me after I became an adult that we shared a passion for the arts. I didn't know it when I was little, but we had a special connection, and I think it's that. And one of the things I'm thinking about calling it is the cost. So yeah, she came down and she played for me, and that was wonderful. And she asked me, did I sing? And I said, yes. And she said, do you sing my music? And I said, no. And she said, why? I said, because you're Nina Simone. And she started laughing. So I told her I had two favorite songs that I liked, and I sang a little bit of both of them for her. And my aunt, she doesn't well up easily at all. Her eyes watered a little bit, and she said, my, what a beautiful voice. You can sing. And then I felt like I was two. I just bust out crying. I was like, thank you. But two things that just meant the most to her, I think, was justice and love, which is interesting. She either sang about justice or is it unrequited love?
All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Crystal Fox.
Thank you
for stopping by the Upfront Studios and looking forward to this new season of the Haves and Have-Nots, which is coming on OWN June 20th.
June 20th, yes.
Okay, okay. And then again, your event, Dance for Diversity, which is taking place on Saturday, June 24th from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Atlanta's historic Adair Park 2. Again, that is located at 866 Murphy Avenue, Southwest Atlanta.
Thank you.
All right.